Hello students, how are you all? See, this is the second part of class 9th history, that is the French Revolution. Okay, in this chapter I'm going to cover Jacobins, how France abolished monarchy. Okay, so let's start the video. Let's start the second part of chapter 1, that is the French Revolution, class 9th in history. So in the part 1 I discussed about the causes of the French Revolution, and now I'll discuss about the outbreak of the revolution. So see, I discussed in the part 1 about the philosophers Voltaire, Rousseau and Montesquieu. Montesquieu means they decided, or you can say they changed the dissatisfaction among the people. Okay, they created a sense of dissatisfaction and they changed that to the existing conditions and encouraged them to nourish a feeling of hatred against nobles, clergy and the higher classes. Fine. So the outbreak of the revolution, what was the immediate factor which actually precipitated the crisis of the French Revolution? So the immediate factor was the problem of French government's financial bankruptcy. Okay, in May 1789, Louis XVI convened a session of States General, that is the old feudal assembly. Feudal system you must be knowing that on the hierarchy at the top the kings were there, nobles, clergies, okay, and the other members at the middle, and at the last means down the peasants, or you can say the farmers. Okay, now what happened? It was a political body to which the three states sent their representatives. Now what happened? Louis XVI called the State General to pass the proposals for the new taxes. Why? Because French government was financially bankrupt. Now it created a type of dissatisfaction. So what they decided? Again they decided to have more new taxes. Okay, so because of this, again the overburden, who was overburdened? The third state members were overburdened. Okay, and this time Louis XVI was determined to continue the same practice, but members of the third state demanded that the voting conducted by the assembly as a whole, where each member would get one vote, because before what was there, each state contains one vote, and now what the members decided, the members of the third state, they decided that the voting should be conducted by the assembly as a whole, and each member should have one vote, one value. Now this was exactly one of the democratic principles and paved the way for further development of the French Revolution. Okay, so at this juncture there were three courses open to king. First course was to surrender to the third state. Second was to expel the members of the third estate through the use of force. And third was to introduce reforms, means to bring out changes. Okay, so Louis XVI decided for the third one, but exactly in a very means propaganda he made for the third estate members. And what the assembly members they decided, they walked out in protest. Okay, so when they walked out in protest, then they reached where? They reached to tennis court. Okay, on June 17, 1789, the members of third estate, claiming to represent 96% of the nation's population, declared itself as the constituting National Assembly. Okay, on 20th June, they found their meeting hall occupied by the Royal Guards. But determined to meet, they moved to the nearby. Now, because they wanted to do the meeting, because the topic was very important, okay, very crucial meeting they wanted to do. So what they decided, when they found that the Royal Guards have occupied the meeting hall, what they decided, they moved to the nearby Royal Tennis Court to work out the constitution. Okay, and they went there, where they took a resolution, they passed a resolution which is popularly known as the Tennis Court Oath. And this oath was related to their constitution, means they will not separate from each other, they will be unitedly working for this revolution, and they will not get separated during the revolution. Okay, and this was, what was this? This was people's, means third estate members, people's first triumph over the first victory over the king. Now what happened? The king could not reconcile to these changes, because what you can say, that the monarchy, the whole system was there, the old regime was there, the old government system was there of monarchy, and the monarchs at this time they are not means able to change, or they are not able to reform their own system. So Louis XVI wanted to regain his lost position. So he made preparations to break the assembly. Okay, troops were called, and the rumors were spread that leading members of the assembly would soon be arrested. So they all were soon joined by the guards and surrounded the Bastille. What is Bastille? Bastille is exactly a state prison in France. So on 14th July 1789, they surrounded Bastille. Why? Because the guards which were sent to arrest them, those guards also joined them, and with the help of them, the Bastille was surrounded on 14th July 1789. They broke it open. They broke open the door, freeing all the prisoners. Okay, so this was exactly what the fall of Bastille symbolized: the fall of autocracy and the fall of ancient regime. So what exactly it marked? It marked the end of royal despotism. Means ancient regime means marked the end of royal despotism in France and completed the transfer of political authority to national legislative, and by encouraging the peasants to revolt. Okay, and this also paved the way for the fall of feudalism. I hope it is clear. Now let's come to a National Assembly. See, after 14 July, means after the Bastille, after that fall of Bastille, 14 July 1789, Louis XVI was king only in name. Okay, because now they were becoming more and more stronger National Assembly members. The representatives of the Third Estate viewed themselves as a spokesman for the whole French nation. Now they took the responsibility to bring out this revolution and to bring the result of these revolutions. They want changes in the society completely. So they declared themselves a national assembly and swore not to disperse till they had drafted the constitution for France. And this was the start of framing the constitution in a country. Okay. Now, in the midst of these developments, the French National Assembly, also known as Constituent Assembly, continued its activities and not only succeeded in abolishing feudalism and class privileges, but also made a declaration regarding the rights of man. Okay, so what were these declarations of the rights of man? Let's read those. First one. It specified the equality of men and citizens. Then, eligibility of all citizens for public offices. Then, freedom for arrest or punishment without proven cause. Okay, freedom from arrest or punishment without proven cause. Now, freedom of speech and freedom of press. The most important of all was that an equal distribution of the burden of taxation and the right of private property, right to have private property. So these were all the declarations made of the rights of man and citizens. Now let's move to when France became the constitutional monarchy. So after uprooting, just now I told you that after uprooting the despotic rule of the king in France, the Constituent Assembly proceeded with the drafting of a written constitution, which was completed in 1791. Remember this date. They proceeded with the drafting of a written constitution that completed in 1791. Okay. Now, this constitution was based on the twin principle. It is given here. The constitution was based on the twin principle, that is of separation of powers and sovereignty of the people. So its objectives were limit the powers of monarch. Before that, the powers were only given to monarchs. Okay, the people, they were titled as subjects and they were the second class members. So first class means the monarchs, they were having all the powers. But now after making this written constitution, what they made, they limited the powers of monarch. Then second is the powers, instead of concentrated in the hands of one person, were now separated and assigned to different organs. As we are knowing today, we study in political science about the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. Now I hope that you have learned that how these three different organs came from which country. Okay, so I hope till here it is clear. Now, after this, France becomes a constitutional monarchy. France abolished monarchy because this was a stepwise process. It cannot be done in a single step. It is a stepwise. Many steps are there. So, firstly, it was made as a constitutional monarchy, and after that, the monarchy was abolished in France, and it became a republic. Okay, now Jacobins. This is very important topic. Who were the Jacobins? Jacobins were exactly the political club. Jacobins, the name of the political club in France. So it is written, it was the most popular and successful political club in France. The less prosperous sections of the society were the members of Jacobins. Okay, these were there in this political club, Jacobins. Who was the leader? Maximilien Robespierre was the leader of the Jacobins. Okay, and the less prosperous sections, the people, they included small shopkeepers, artisans such as shoemakers, watchmakers, etc., and even the daily wage workers. So Jacobins came to be known as, also this term can be asked in one word, sans culottes. Okay, Jacobins came to be known as sans culottes. So it's literally meaning those without knee breeches, means the dress was there. So a large number of Jacobins began wearing long striped trousers. Why they started wearing this long striped trousers? Because this was to set themselves apart from the fashionable society. Is it clear? Okay, so to set themselves apart from the fashionable society, they decided to start wearing striped trousers like dock workers, as the nobles wore knee breeches. Fine. So this was all about Jacobins. Who was the leader of Jacobins? Maximilian Robespierre. So this was all about in part 2. Okay, in the next part I'll cover about a very important topic, that is the reign of terror in France, then Directory, then about Napoleon Bonaparte and the role of women in French Revolution. Till then, goodbye.